It's Monday, January 1st, 2018. This is the CBS Morning News. 2018 is here. People around the world welcomed in the new year with parties and fireworks. And here in New York City, more than 1 million revelers did not let the frigid temperatures stop their Times Square celebration. That was one for the record books. Good morning from the Studio 57 newsroom at CBS News headquarters here in New York. I'm Hena in for Anne-Marie Green. People welcomed in 2018 with parties, fireworks, and in some cases, lots of layers of clothing. It was freezing cold in many places across the country. Temperatures weren't too bad in Las Vegas, where there was a spectacular fireworks show over the Strip. Several casinos took part in the coordinated show that lit up the night sky. And overseas, thousands of people gathered to watch a fireworks display in the Belgian capital of Brussels. Here in New York City, more than 1 million people watched the ball drop in Times Square. There was unprecedented security and near record cold. Wendy Gillette has that story.
Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
And the bitter cold gripping much of the country this New Year's Day isn't going away anytime soon. Meteorologist Lauren Casey from our Philadelphia station, KYW, has more.
Arctic air has engulfed a large portion of the country. Stay warm. Back to you in the studio.
That was Lauren Casey reporting. President Trump wrapped up his year in Florida with a party and a tweet storm. Among the topics, a response to a report that Democrats will have success in the new year as backlash to his policies. Diane King Hall is here in New York. Diane, good morning.
Good morning, Hena. Well, the president's party in Florida is an annual tradition dating back more than 10 years, January 19th. Hena?
Diane King Hall here in New York. Thank you, Diane. All right. An investigation is underway in Costa Rica this morning to determine the cause of a plane crash that killed 10 American tourists and 2 Costa Rican pilots. The charter plane went down just moments after takeoff yesterday from Punta Isleta in the northwest part of the country. It was headed to the capital of San Jose. It crashed in a mountainous area, killing everyone on board. Officials say strong winds earlier in the day forced the pilots to alter their itinerary. A family from New York City said 5 of the dead Americans were relatives on vacation. They are identified as a couple and their 3 sons. Authorities in Colorado are trying to determine what caused a man to open fire on sheriff's deputies in a community outside Denver. 1 deputy was killed. Laura Podesta has that story.
4 sheriff's deputies and 1 police officer were shot Sunday. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Houston police arrested an intoxicated man after they found several guns and ammunition in his hotel room. Security officers called police after the man became belligerent and refused to leave a bar at the Hyatt Regency Hotel early yesterday. Police found a rifle, shotgun, and handgun in the man's room hours before a big New Year's Eve party at the hotel. He told police the guns were in his room because he did not want anyone to steal them from his truck. Authorities say they don't think he intended to use the weapons. And a gas main burst into flames in Boston, injuring 4 utility workers. They were called to the scene of a gas leak last night when it burst into flames. The 4 workers were treated for superficial burns at a hospital. Some residents were evacuated. Fire officials say they couldn't shut off the gas because thousands of people would lose heat on a bitterly cold night. Coming up on the morning news, kicking off the new year on a high note. California starts recreational marijuana sales today, and the dark side turns green. The Last Jedi breaks box office records. This is the CBS Morning News. This is definitely one of the New Year's biggest fireworks, and it may be the largest of all time. It exploded in a bright flash of yellow and orange over Al Marjan Island in the United Arab Emirates. It was an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for the largest fireworks display. The shell was 2,200 pounds with more than a 4.5-foot diameter. The Last Jedi marks a new box office milestone, and California rolls out recreational marijuana today. Those are some of the headlines on the morning newsstand. San Jose's Mercury News reports on the first retail pot shops opening in California today. Almost 50 dispensaries in the San Francisco Bay Area and Santa Cruz are now allowed to sell recreational marijuana. More licenses are pending. Adults are allowed to buy up to 1 ounce of that drug. Marijuana became legal in California in 2016, but it was illegal to sell it before today. The Washington Post reports the federal courts will examine protections against sexual harassment. Chief Justice John Roberts said the new initiative will ensure law clerks and other court employees are safe from sexual harassment. Procedures for investigating and correcting inappropriate behavior will be carefully evaluated. Last month, Ninth Circuit Court Judge Alex Kaczynski stepped down after he was accused of sexual misconduct. Variety says Star Wars: The Last Jedi just topped the $1 billion mark in worldwide earnings. The film has been out less than 3 weeks. It brought in more than $120 million over New Year's Eve weekend, bringing the global total to over $1 billion. The latest in the popular film franchise is also now the 8th highest grossing domestic movie of all time. Still ahead, caught on video, a holiday surprise. A squirrel goes nuts inside a woman's home when the police arrive. Here's a look at today's forecast in some cities around the country.
The squirrel turned it on?
A New York police officer was no match for this squirrel. A resident called police to report the squirrel broke into her home and was eating her cookies. Body camera video shows police trying to catch the squirrel as it leaps around the kitchen and even onto an officer. Police finally caught the small suspect without injury. Apple's discounted iPhone replacement batteries are available sooner than expected. Apple says you can buy the $29 batteries now, but initial supplies may be limited. The company offered the replacements last week after apologizing for slowing down older iPhones. It said a software update to prevent sudden shutdowns in the iPhone 6 slowed the phones down. Apple earlier said the replacements wouldn't be available until later this month. What would a new year be without New Year's resolutions? But in addition to the traditional ones like exercising more and eating better, you might want to think about resolutions for your pocketbook. CBS News financial analyst Jill Schlesinger explains.
37% of Americans will make financial resolutions. In New York, I'm Jill Schlesinger.
One quick way to help your finances: win the lottery. Since nobody won either the Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot last week, the combined jackpots are now close to $800 million. Tuesday's Mega Millions grand prize stands at $343 million, and Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $440 million. Still ahead, ClassPass, why the key to getting in shape for the new year may be a group effort. Here's a look at today's forecast in some cities around the country. If you're looking to get into shape this new year, Laura Podesta shows us why you may want to try working out in a group.
Elizabeth Kelly is a student at the University of Pennsylvania. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Coming up on CBS This Morning, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady gives us an inside look at his fitness routine and the keys to success. I'm Hena Doba. This is the CBS Morning News.
Thank you.
Our top story this morning: people across the world welcomed in 2018 with parties and fireworks. But in many places, the bitter cold forced revelers to party under heavy layers of clothing. More than 1 million people watched the ball drop in New York's Times Square. It was the second coldest on record at 10 degrees. In Northern California, a grove of redwood that has stood tall for 1,000 years is now threatened by an onslaught of tourists. John Blackstone was given a private tour.
What a place to work.
Yeah, it's not a bad office setting.
Entering the redwood forest. John Blackstone, CBS News, Crescent City, California.
Coming up on CBS This Morning, Mark Phillips takes a trip to Antarctica for his Climate Diaries series to see how tourism there is giving scientists hope. Plus, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady gives us an inside look at his fitness routine and the keys to success. And we'll take you to Tennessee to learn about the former slave who taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey and the recognition he's getting more than 150 years later. That's the CBS Morning News for this Monday. Thanks for watching. I'm Hena. Happy New Year. Have a great day.